My father promised my sister my $2 million beach house, and she was shocked when she showed up with moving trucks on Saturday morning to find the house completely empty except for one framed photo on the fireplace. It was a picture of us as children, with a note that read, "Remember when we were best friends, before you slept with my husband and Dad gave you everything I built on my own? My name is Rebecca Ann Morrison. I'm 34 years old, and I spent 12 years building a real estate development career that made me wealthy entirely on my own. That beach house, I designed it myself, financed it with money I earned, and watched every detail come together over 18 months of construction. Jennifer, my younger sister by 3 years, contributed exactly nothing to its existence, except showing up for champagne at the housewarming party, where she apparently decided that both my house and my husband looked like things she wanted for herself. The affair had been going on for 7 months before I found out. 7 months of family dinners where Jennifer sat across from me, smiling and asking about my marriage while she was sleeping with Derek in the very bed I'd custom ordered for our master bedroom. 7 months of my father praising Jennifer for finally getting her life together, while she was systematically destroying mine. The discovery came not through suspicious behavior or a guilty conscience, but through a contractor I'd worked with who saw them at a restaurant 2 towns over, Derek's hand on her thigh, both of them laughing like they'd won something. I filed for divorce immediately. The proceedings were swift because I'd been smart enough to have a prenuptial agreement that Derek's lawyer couldn't touch. What shocked me wasn't Derek's betrayal. Looking back, I could see he'd always been weak, attracted to my success more than to me. What shattered something fundamental was my father's reaction when I told him what Jennifer had done. "Rebecca, you've always been so independent," he said in his study, the same room where he'd reluctantly signed my college loan papers because he didn't think women needed business degrees. "Jennifer needs more support. She struggled her whole life. Maybe if you'd been home more instead of always working, Derek wouldn't have looked elsewhere." The words hung in the air like poison. My father, who had given Jennifer everything, paid her rent through her 20s, bought her 3 different cars she'd wrecked, funded 2 failed business attempts, was now suggesting I'd driven my husband into my sister's bed through the crime of professional ambition. But that conversation was nothing compared to what happened 3 months later at Sunday dinner. I'd stopped attending these family gatherings, but my father had called specifically to ask me to come, saying he had important news to share. I should have known better. Jennifer was already there when I arrived, sitting in what used to be my chair at the table, wearing a dress I recognized as one I'd left behind when I moved out of the house Derek and I had shared. My father stood at the head of the table, that self-satisfied expression he wore when he thought he was solving problems. "I'm glad you both could be here," he began, pouring wine like this was a celebration. "I've been thinking about how to help this family heal, and I believe I've found the solution." My stomach tightened with dread. "Rebecca, you've done very well for yourself, better than I ever expected, honestly. That beach house of yours is beautiful, but it's far too large for one person." Meanwhile, Jennifer is still trying to find her footing, and I think she needs a fresh start, somewhere inspiring. I stared at him, unable to process what I was hearing. "So, I've decided," he continued, as if he were a king distributing lands, "that Jennifer should have the beach house. You can find something smaller, more practical. You're good at that real estate business. You'll bounce back." The silence that followed was absolute. Jennifer was looking down at her bait, but I could see the small smile playing at the corners of her